Good morning, ladies. Today is November 15th, Tuesday, November 15th. I am going to do our chapter 13 lecture, and this is actually one chapter that I'm really excited about. Some of the ones in the middle just get a little, a little bit boring, but this is one that I am very passionate about, and I hope that you guys have a lot of fun. It's a very light week. There won't be a huge lab at the end of the week. There will be a lab, but it won't be, it'll be fun. Hopefully you guys find it fun and encouraging and excited. Hopefully you go into the teaching education programs. Hopefully you're getting some momentum and excitement built up for that. Just a few housekeeping things first. We are going to, I have to refer to my calendar. This week we are going to do chapter 13, and next week we do not have school on Tuesday. We get out early, and it's only a day and a half. So I was thinking that there's still some missing assignments that some of you have. And we really don't need to do anything next week just because we're on track. We're paced out right to end the semester with Dodge City Community College. So with that being said, I'm not going to put a lecture on next week. I'm going to give you next week to turn in any missing assignments. If you have a 0, I'll still take any of that missing work. My main objective is that you just actually get out what you're supposed to get out of those labs. So do not feel like you can't turn anything in late. I want you to get that information. So we will start back up with class on November 28th. That will be lesson chapter 14. And then on December 5th, we will work on our last one, which is 15. So there's 15 units within this book. And then the week of the 12th through the 16th, we are going to work on our philosophy of education. So I've kind of been talking to you about that along the way. I have not received very many of those, so that's something next week that you could really, really work on. And then my grades are due on the 19th. So that kind of finishes out our semester. We are working right on through here. Like I said, I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're learning a little bit, and this week is going to be really fun and enlightening, hopefully. So with that being said, chapter 13 is what are your job options in education? So obviously you go through the education program in whatever college college of choice, and you want to be a teacher, okay? But there's so much more than just being a teacher, and we're going to delve through that this week and go through that. So your learning objectives are listed here. I won't read that for you. This YouTube video is just about this girl put it together, 5 important teaching documents for teachers. So she talks about having a resume, having a cover letter, having your official transcript, which you won't have that yet. You'll have your high school transcript, a letter of recommendation. And this is something that you want to pay attention to when you're in college. So maybe you have a professor that you really respect and hit it off well with. You want to use her as a letter of recommendation for you. Or when I was in college, the whole time I was in college at Fort Hays, I actually worked as a tutor in an after-school program. So every day at 3:30, I would go to an elementary school, and I would work from 3:30 to 5:30, and I would do interventions, I would do enrichment, I would do playground duty, I would do snack, just kind of whatever they needed me to do. And I did that program for actually 3.5 years, and I used them as a letter of recommendation. And that was a great letter of recommendation. So just remember that when you're working through college, you're going to need a letter of recommendation for your first job, and try to build those relationships and try to be aware of that relationship that you need to build, and obviously be respectful and show the integrity that you're going to have as a teacher when you build those relationships, so you can have a letter of recommendation that's just solid and built for you. Your teaching certificate, that'll come with graduation, actually a test that you take. So this is just a short I don't know, 7-minute video about the things that you will need to actually apply for a job. So the next thing that I have in here is the license application. And this is a website, or this is a link to the KSDE website. You are going to use KSDE's website a lot. I've told you that before, but I wanted to link it again for you. It's under L for licensure. So when you pull up ksde.org, go to L for licensure, and this is where all your licensure information is going to be. So after you are finished with your college, your education program in college, you're going to need to go to this website and you'll work through the licensure application. So nothing that you need to know right now, nothing that you need to know in the next couple months or to graduate or to apply for college. But I just want you to know what is coming when you do graduate, and your testing information. This is also a link over here. I think it's right here. But I want you to know that there are some tests that you will be required depending on to take and pass, depending on what concentration or what licensure you are applying for, okay? So with that being said, let's go down here. You are going to take, this is just the Kansas one, okay. So all initial teaching licenses. So no matter if you pick secondary or if you pick elementary, you are going to take this PLT, Principles of Learning and Teaching. You're going to either choose early childhood, grades K through 6, grades 5 through 9, 7 through 12, or pre-K through 12. So you kind of need to know what you're interested in before you take this test. Otherwise, you'll have to take the test again. If you take this K6 test and you find an 8th grade teaching position, you won't be licensed for that until you go back and take this 5 through 9 or the 7 through 12. There's also different specific areas, early childhood, and these are the tests that you would have to take. There's elementary education, and these are the tests that you would have to take, and so forth. So I'm just going to let you kind of work through that on your own and just become familiar. Just basically make yourself aware that there will be a test at the end of your college. Once you get your degree, you still have to go on and take your licensure test, and that is through KSDE for the state of Kansas. Now, if you graduate if you go to Fort Hays State University and you get a teaching job in Oklahoma, you're obviously going to have to go to the Oklahoma State Department of Education and get certified and licensed in Oklahoma. Okay, so, oops, that's what we just did there. The next, and I've showed you this before, but the next website is educatekansas.org. And this is one of your objectives, learning objectives for the week, is I want you to know what teaching jobs will be available. Okay, so this book was written in, I don't know, I have to look it up every time we talk about it, 2012. And the first heading is, will there be a teaching job available when you are ready, when you graduate? And the answer is absolutely yes. In 2012, in 2008, in 2006, there weren't a lot of teaching jobs available, and you were very lucky if I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher and that's all I wanted to teach. Well, there wasn't a kindergarten teaching position in the state of Kansas when I graduated. So first grade is what I took. I ended up loving it. I stayed there for 9 years. But what you wanted was few and far between. Now, with the teacher shortage that we're in right now, there's so many teaching positions. That's the beauty of where you're at right now. You do not have to worry about a teaching position. They're going to be there, I promise. And there's several reasons for that. One of the book's objectives that we need to talk about is factors influencing teacher supply and demand. And one of the major, they always told me when I was in college that there's going to be this need for teachers about this time, because all the baby boomers will be at retirement age and they'll all retire at the same time. So there was a huge influx of baby boomers who went into the teaching field. So when they finished out their years of experience and reached that age of retirement, it's all going to happen at the same time within like a period of 3 to 5 years. And so there's going to be a lot of teachers retiring. There's also a shortage just because of the current COVID situation. There were a lot of teachers that said, nope, I'm not doing it. I don't want to do the online thing. It's too hard right now. Even before COVID, there were a lot of teachers that decided that it wasn't for them because the pay wasn't very good compared to how much work they had to put into it. There's a lot of trauma. Our kids are faced with a lot of trauma, a lot more than in 2005, 2002, 2008. And so teachers are having to do more counseling and social emotional health than we have ever done before. So it's very tedious. It's very time consuming. It's not August through May 8 to 5 or 8 to 3. Those hours do not really exist. So there's a lot of reasons for the teaching, the demand for teachers, but we have to work through it, and we don't really know what the main reason is, other than it's a lot of work and the baby boomers are all graduating or all retiring. Okay, so some influencing factors that are affecting the demand for teachers and the supply for teachers. If you were a teacher right now in the state of Kansas, you could ultimately decide what side of the state you wanted to be on, okay? And like I said, it was not like that before. So you could say, I'm from Western Kansas. I'm a Western Kansas girl. I don't want to teach in the Blue Valley North schools or the Johnson County schools because I don't know anything about it and I don't want to be there. So I'm going to choose Western Kansas. So you can choose the size of school you want. If you're a 1A, a 6A, 4A, whatever, you can choose there. Geographical location, like I just said, subject matters, grades, and levels taught. So if you wanted to be a kindergarten teacher since the time you were 4 years old, more than likely that's going to be available now. Economic conditions. So maybe you want to teach in a town that has a Super Target and you're just dead set on living close to a Super Target or a Starbucks. So there's going to be those opportunities, and sometimes that influences where teachers go and where teachers begin to stay. One of the reasons why teachers leave is because they do not get along with their coworkers, or it's just not a school climate that's positive. The teacher morale may be negative. So that might be something when you're interviewing, get to know some of the teachers, walk through the building, just kind of get a check on how the teacher morale feels when you're in there. Okay. Let's go to teaching education. Okay, so what we're going to do the last part of this lecture and through the lab is I want you guys to get excited about looking for colleges, teacher education colleges in Kansas. I want you to get excited about hopefully applying to one of those colleges. And we're going to work through a little bit of that together. Okay. So I started with Fort Hays State University because that is where I got my undergrad. That's where I got my grad. That's where my master's degree. I'm currently going to Fort Hays State University to get my building principal's license. So I'm very familiar with Fort Hays State University. Now, I'm just going through this because, like I said, I know the website, but I'm not pushing Fort Hays State on you. I just want you to be able to see what programs are out there. But I'm going to let you decide in your lab, in your assignment for this week. I want you to pick 2 colleges in the state of Kansas and kind of do some research within those education programs. Okay, so I'm in the teacher education program at Fort Hays State University. I have linked this for you. There are different programs at Fort Hays State University for becoming a teacher. You can have your early childhood, your elementary education, your special education, early childhood, or your secondary education. You can look into the graduate programs if you want right now, but that's not necessarily. Okay, so I want you to click on whichever one you are interested in, and just kind of look at the route you are going to have to take if you want to indeed become a licensed teacher. So it kind of talks about the summary of it's 55 hours. Your coursework is 55 hours. There are, okay, so down here it tells you the classes that you're going to have to take if you want a minor or an internship. And then your student teaching is always in there too. So that's going to be a semester. So I want you to kind of look through here and see what program you're interested in, see if there's any areas where, let me see what I have for your lab. This week we're going to research colleges in Kansas, their education programs. Pick a college to research. How much is that program? I know Fort Hays State is, I think, $13,000. Then K-State is, I believe, $18,000. So you're just going to research what the cost is, and are there any concentration areas that you are interested in. So let me know if there's any there's any content areas that you are interested. Let's see. I also added Emporia State University in here. Undergraduate programs. Let's look at undergraduate programs. Art education, biology, business, chemistry, earth science, elementary education. Let's see if they have any areas of concentration. Okay, minors and endorsements. So you could get your K through 6 license, and then you can get a PE minor also. So if you wanted to do any kind of coaching or any, our junior high social studies teacher is also the junior high PE teacher. So that's just a minor that he wanted to go in and do. Trauma informed would be a big certificate right now to have. So kind of look through whatever colleges in Kansas that you are interested in or that you're already thinking about. Dodge City Community College also has a beginner teacher program. You can't go all the way through there. You'll have to transfer eventually, but there's a small college of education there. Most of the Pratt has the beginning of you can take some classes in Pratt too at PCC. So I just want you to have fun this week. I want you to look through some programs in Kansas. I mean, if you're dead set on an out-of-state college already, that's fine. Go ahead and just research what college they have, or what education program they have also. That's fine. But I just wanted to say keep it in Kansas for right now, just because it's probably going to be the most affordable. So through your lab, you're just going to pick 2 different colleges and research them. It doesn't have to be a paragraph. It doesn't have to be anything formal. I want it to be informational and beneficial for you. So if you want to make that in bullets, if you want to make it in 2 columns, like Fort Hays State and K-State, or Fort Hays State and Emporia State, and then just list some things. This one's 55 hours, this one's 58 hours, this one's 13,000, this one's 18,000. This one has the concentration that I'm most excited about. This one, there's a super target. Just kind of make a list of the 2 different colleges that you're researching, and just kind of make some notes of what you're finding in there. If you have any questions, let me know. The main objectives are going to be, they're going to be hit through your research. Oops. Identify major factors and influences, and that influences the ability of teaching jobs in the United States, and I kind of talked to you about that already. Describe at least 4 strategies that will increase your chances of obtaining an education or a teaching position, and provide definitions for the following terms: licensure, alternative license, and certification. So that's all through KSCE also. Alternative license, I haven't talked to you about alternative license yet, and that's really not going to be anything that is, it's really not going to affect you, because that is if, like, we have our first grade teacher right now has a business degree. She went to college and got a 4-year business degree, and then decided she wanted to be a teacher. So she's going through an alternative teaching program, which is called, it's through Fort Hays State University. K-State has one also. It's called Transition to Teach, T2T. And it basically just tells the college, I already have a college degree. I just need the teacher part of it, so I don't have to retake Comp 1 and college algebra and all that stuff. So it's just going to be a fast track to your teaching license. So, but like I said, since you guys don't already have a college degree, you don't really need to worry about any of the alternative programs, alternative licensure programs. But just know, if you accidentally go into something else and get a degree, and then later you really do want to be a teacher, there are options for not going through the whole entire program, just a little snippet part of it. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm excited to see what colleges you guys are going to review. You did a great job. I was very pleased with your Chapter 12 lab. I think you guys learned a lot talking to your administrator and seeing what school reform, what your school, how they've kind of reformed and made some changes along the way in the last 5 years. So hopefully you learned something from that also. But like I said, let me know if you have any questions. I do know quite a bit of the professors at Fort Hays State University. So if you are interested in going and getting your degree and you want to apply, let me know. And I can help you with that with any college in the state of Kansas. But I could be a letter of reference for you, whatever you need from me. So have a wonderful week, and remember that next week we are not going to meet on Tuesday, but I will allow you to turn in any of those missing assignments. I will expect you to do any of those missing assignments and make sure you have all of them in by next week. So that will just make grading easier for me when it comes to finals. So have a wonderful week.